Professor Skye here. In case you want more Skye content, this is going to be my promised Kanye West tier list. However, I'm not really going to go into it. I'm not going to go into great detail. I went into amazing detail on the I've been meaning to listen to that podcast with Andrew Ambrose Lee and Stenley Philippe. And I really suggest you go and listen to that. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on all those places. But I am going to fulfill my promise. I'm going to give you my Kanye my tier list. The problem is, though, I'm not going to give you any context. So you're just going to see it and you're going to be like, Skye, what are you thinking? This is not right. You can't possibly believe that. Well, check out the podcast and hear more. So I'm going to go backwards through his discography. These are the categories. S tier, it was a God dream. A tier, doing pretty good as far as geniuses go. College dropout. Wake up, Mr. West, and yikes. Now, there's not going to be any album in Yikes. And of course, all of these albums are A or S tier and any other sort of more objective tier list. But for Kanye, we have to compare Kanye to Kanye. And Yikes is just going to be everything he said in the last couple of years. If you want to learn more about my thoughts on that, where things are going to be going with Kanye in the future, with Ye in the future, check out part 1 of the I've been meaning to listen to that interview podcast with Stenley and Andrew Ambrose. Now let's get into the albums, okay? So we're going to start off with Donda 2, which I have represented here, and that is going to go into Wake Up Mr. West category in some of the worst music that he has made. Moving on to Donda 1, that's actually going to go and doing pretty good as far as geniuses go, although he's not that much of a genius because the album cover is black and the back is black. So you're just going to have to know that is there. Jesus is King is also going in B tier and A tier, doing pretty good as far as geniuses go. I think it's that good of an album. Why do I think so? Listen to the podcast. Coming up next, Kids See Ghosts. That's going to be the first in the This Is a God Dream S tier. We then move to Ye, the album, which is going down into Wake Up Mr. West, even worse than Donda 2, I believe. Life of Pablo. This fits just perfectly up here in A tier, doing pretty good as far as geniuses go. Yeezus, you don't have to know. You know, that's S tier, that's God tier, that's God dream tier, that's every single possible tier. If you want to learn more about that, listen to the podcast. Of course, we got Watch the Throne. That's going to go in A tier. It wasn't going to originally, but thanks to my wife, I've learned to love that album. My Dark, Beautiful, Twisted Fantasy, that's got to go in S tier as well. I think anyone who says that album is not a perfect album it's just affect. And that's cool, man. I do all sorts of dumb things for affect, but that's not one of them. It's an amazing album. Not as good as Jesus, but an amazing album. Then 808 and Heartbreak, which I'm going to controversially put behind Jesus is King. I actually realized that Jesus is King may be as revolutionary, and I think I actually listened to it and like it even more. Not as much as Donda, though. This gets to Graduation. This is the last part of This Is a God Dream in the tier list. I love Graduation. It's my favorite of his opening trilogy. This did not go over well on the video, but I put Late Registration in C tier, the Wake Up Mr. West tier, as my second least favorite album by Kanye. How can I possibly think that? Have you unsubscribed? Do you hate me forever? You know what I'm going to say. Listen to the podcast and you'll find out. Finally, College Dropout goes in the College Dropout tier. Why do I feel so mezzo on that? Listen to the podcast and find out. So there it is. There's my official rankings of the Kanye West albums, 1 to 13. Jesus, Fantasy, Ghosts, Graduation, Donda 1, Jesus, 808s, Pablo, Throne, College Dropout, Donda 2, Registration, Ye, and Twitter. So there you go. Check out the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Go ahead. Tell me your comments. Tell me why my list is crazy. But don't do it until you listen to the podcast. It's like 2 hours of me talking about, it's like 3 hours. It's like 4 hours of us talking about Kanye. It's super awesome. All right. Bye. There's the camera.